Good afternoon and welcome to CIF Division II Wrestling Finals here live at Westview High School. My name's John Owens and I'm here with Matt Eckerman. Both of us going to be bringing you all this exciting matchups between the tough schools here in Division II. Many coaches would agree around this San Diego County that the best wrestlers, the most competitive wrestling is right here in Division II with 5 of the top 10 teams all from Division II. Here in a second we'll be back with our play-by-play and our analysis here on Orange Nation TV. On OrangeNationTV.com.
Go, it's a hit.
All right, so we were picking things up right away. We're just a little bit of a miscommunication there. We have 2 mats going here. We're at the 108s, I think, right now on our camera. And in the center mat, we have Kai Kramer from Coste Canyon taking on Tirso Lara.
Yeah, John, that's at 106-pound. Tirso Lara out of Poway here is one of the top 5 wrestlers in the state. We're early on in the first period, just a little over a minute, and there's a takedown for Tirso Lara of Poway. We also have the other weight going at the on mat number 1 there, John.
Yeah, that's Arlen Corman from Rancho Bernardo High School and Mario Williams from Orange Glen. Both of those seniors we will be possibly taking a look in when we can. We have just one camera here today live at Westview High School, and we'll do our very best to bring you both mats tonight as best we can. Kai Kramer's just a freshman.
We've got a score of 4-2 right now for Tirso Lara, the senior from Poway, early on here in the first period.
Poway represented well. That's an understatement here in finals. Also coming in as the 3rd-ranked team in all of the state of California.
Another takedown here by Tirso Lara, 6-2. About 30 seconds to go here in the first period.
Those of you keeping track at home with the Corman and Williams on the other mat, there's still no score. Looks like we will have a score. Some scoring here soon.
And looking at a takedown to his back for the Orange Glen wrestler and getting some back points. I think he'll go up 5-0 there to end the first period. Back here to mat number 2.
And we do apologize. We'll be making some shifts between mats. It's the best we can do to bring you the most wrestling action.
The waning seconds here in the first period with Tirso Lara of Poway and Kai Kramer of Coste Canyon. That score going into the second period is 6-2 in favor of Tirso Lara of Poway.
Tirso Lara comes in with a 34-2 record. He's first place at almost everything he's done this year. El Dorado, Reno, and Canyon Springs. Facing a freshman I don't have an overall record for, but he's done well throughout. Obviously, here's at finals for CIF Division II.
Yeah, he did come in as the number 2 seed, so he's obviously well respected by the coaches here in the section. Another takedown by Tirso Lara, really tough on his feet. He's gone to neutral, giving his opponent an escape pretty much every time we've started from the down position.
Excellent vantage point for us here this week. We're standing just feet away from the 2 wrestlers. Westview, great host. CIF, great host as well, letting us be here today.
Yeah, this is a really nice gym.
It's a beautiful palace. If you haven't been to Westview High School, you need to. They did a great job with building this school.
About halfway through the second period here, Tirso Lara leads 8-2 over Kai Kramer of Coste Canyon.
Winners today can call themselves CIF champs in Division II, which is quite an honor. Plus, we have a team battle, a team title up for grabs as well. Going into this, Poway, as you might expect, leading overall scores.
Yeah, I think they were pretty much running away with it, John.
Yeah, just taking a look at those team scores. Coming into finals, Poway with 320.5 points. Second place, Coste Canyon at 259. So pretty big discrepancy there.
When they did the the introductions for the finalist here. about 10 or 11 of the 14 weights were represented by a Poway wrestler. That's a pretty dominant team here in the section. Still not much action on the heavyweight bout, but here on mat number 2, Tirso Lara leads 8-2 with 15 seconds to go here in the second period. Tirso Lara has had a fairly quick day. He's been on the mat for all of 2 minutes. Got a bye in the first round and then 2 pins to make it here to the semis.
Continuing on that Poway tradition of dominance at this time of year. Once again, you're watching Orange Nation TV. We're a student-run broadcasting company, or excuse me, web channel from Valhalla High School right here in San Diego County.
As we start the third period here, Kai Kramer chooses top with the score 8-2. Tirso Lara of Poway in the lead. I think this young freshman's got a heck of a career ahead of him if he's already seated second in the section. But I don't think he's probably faced the likes of Tirso Lara.
And they may actually have faced off earlier, but once again, we don't have a ton of information here on Kai Kramer if this is something that he was able to win the spot later in the year.
Yeah, it looks like they might have met at the El Dorado tournament. I think they were both there. About a minute and a half to go here in the third period. 10-2 the score for Tirso Lara over Kai Kramer. A shot, good sprawl by Tirso Lara as he looks to hook the leg and get the takedown. Very nice reaction there. 12-3, surrenders another escape. Very confident of what he can do on his feet here.
As I look across to the other mat, we'll stay here. It looks like Orange Glen Mario Williams with a 2-1 advantage.
Just under a minute to go here in the third period. Poway's Tirso Lara, a 12-4 leader over Kai Kramer of the Coste Canyon. Another single leg, another reshot. And working hard on the edge of the mat, Tirso Lara gets another takedown to make it 14-4.
Yeah, we're sorry we strayed off the mat here. A little miscommunication. We'll get those things worked out as we go. There is some action on the other mat. Like we said, we could bring you both shots.
And that match ends
and
with I'm sorry, John.
No, that's right. Mario Williams from Orange Glen, this senior, will be CIF champ, I believe.
At 285 pounds with I believe a 5-1 win.
Working hard there late is Williams of Orange Glen, scoring his team some points and taking home some hardware.
About 15 seconds to go here in the third period. Tirso Lara with the victory well in hand. 14-5 currently over Kai Kramer of La Coste Canyon.
Timothy Chastity from Poway versus Derek Bauer from La Coste Canyon.
And Tirso Lara will be your section champion at 106 pounds over Kai Kramer, 14-5 here in the final.
So that brings up our next bouts, and we're going to try to bring those right now underway in the 222. 222, we have, we've dropped some papers here.
Timothy Chasson of Poway and Derek Daughter of La Coste Canyon. Yeah. So as you can see by the team scores, those two schools, number 1 and 2, you're going to have a lot of them in the finals.
Yeah, Daughter from La Coste Canyon, he's a senior, an impressive CIF champion from a year ago. I believe it says here on his note, CIF first place from last year, and he's done quite well this year. I do not have an overall record on him, and he's taken on Chasen.
And he's got a quick takedown Timothy Chasson does, and he's looking for the fall here early on in the first period on mat number 1, and there is a fall. There's your section champion, Tim Chasson of Poway. Congrats to him.
And he runs that record to 37-7, which is pretty impressive for anybody, and he's also got himself some hardware. So
over here on mat number 2 at 113 pounds, Jamie Cruz of Hilltop, and Janron Fickenig.
We have Jaime Cruz, who's a senior out of Hilltop, and we have Jinrad Fakingas from Poway, who's a senior, coming in at 27-11, of Cruz with a 29-5 record.
Yeah, John, I was just about ready to butcher that name, so I thank you for coming in with the phonetics.
Yeah, and if you could picture what we're trying to do here, we got a lot of papers in front of us. We're trying to cover 2 mats. We don't want you to feel sorry for us, but we dropped a few papers. That kind of hurt our coverage. You're listening to Orange Nation TV, and most of the smart stuff is going to come from Matt Eckerman, who former state champion from the state of Iowa in wrestling. He wrestled Division I at Duke University, finished his career at the University of Chicago, so bringing with him a wealth of wrestling knowledge. My name is John Owens. We're with Orange Nation TV.
And we'll go over to mat number 1, where we have 197-pound wrestlers. We had a little injury time here on mat number 2.
Yeah, that's Miles Kursick with the Coste Canyon in the far side in the gold singlet there. He was 4th in CIF last year, 31-6, taking on Liam Sorham, the sophomore out of Poway. 31-8 he brings into this matchup.
Not much action here on either mat. We'll come back over here to mat number 2, Jamie Cruz of Hilltop.
Yeah, I believe it's Jaime Cruz.
Jaime, I'm sorry.
That's all right. We just try to be as accurate as we can, so Cruz family at home, hopefully we're pronouncing that right. 29-5, has had a really good career at Hilltop. 2nd in CIF last year is Cruz. And he's gotten a bunch of first place all around. Battle of the Beach, Las Vegas tournament, Monte Vista, and the Metro tournament.
I was told by our handicapper that this would be one of the tougher matches of the day. I think it'll be fairly tight. At the end of the first period here, it's 0-0.
Fakingas and Cruz here in the center mat.
Fakingas chooses to go down here to start the second period. Again, 0-0 to start the second period. I think this will be there'll be another battle between a Poway and a Hilltopper on this mat at the next weight as well.
So those folks at home, maybe in a second, can you explain what's the next step for these guys if they win here today or even if they lose?
Win or lose, they're going on to the Masters. The top 7 wrestlers from the section championships here for Section 2 will go on to Masters next weekend, which I believe is down in East Lake. Is that correct, in Chula Vista, John?
I think so.
And from there, they'll merge with the top 7 place winners from section number 1. The top 6 placers from Division III section, and the top 4 placers from Division 4. And then the top 3 Masters placers will move on to the state tournament.
No matter the case, a lot of those guys going to state are going to come right out of this division here, and definitely a really a feather in the cap of all Division II wrestlers to know that it really means something to take that trophy home today.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got 5 of the top 10 schools in the county right out of this section, you know it means a lot to just even move on to Masters out of this.
Kursick and Sorahan on the far mat are all knotted up, it looks like. One can't see how much time
tied
left.
at 3 apiece with a minute 42 to go in the second period. A little bit better. We've got a stall call here on Fakingas of Poway. Not much action. Pretty tightly contested bout here on mat number 2. Just 1-0.
You know, as we look at these two bouts taking place, we have a full crowd here at Westview, and it's hard to believe that the IOC said no more wrestling in the Olympics.
Yeah, it really is really hard to believe. Hopefully anybody watching that's a wrestling fan, supporter, whether it's casual or diehard, can try to make your voice heard. Obviously, it's going to come down to, USA Wrestling and a lot of other national governing bodies for wrestling petitioning the IOC to get wrestling back in there. But I don't think, a social network war for wrestling is going to hurt. Post it on your Facebook.
On the farm, sorry about that. On the far mat, looks like Sorham takes a 1-point advantage over Kursick.
Here to start the second period, Jaime Cruz, from Hilltop, has chosen down behind 1-0. I think what threw me, John, is the actual bout sheet from the section actually has Jamie. So they had it misspelled, and that's thrown me off. So I do apologize to Jaime.
The only reason I know that is I did some investigation, and like I said, if we do butcher a name today, that's probably not if, it's when we do that. But we're trying our very best, bring you the best wrestling action we can here in San Diego County.
Good action here from Cruz, trying to get the escape to knot this bout up at 1 apiece. Unsuccessful 40 seconds in here to the third period. The far mat has going into the third period 4-3 in favor of Sorhan from Poway. Minute to 5 go. 1 minute, 5 seconds to go here on mat number 2. With Cruz of Hilltop looking to get the escape, fighting hard, and goes out of bounds before he can release the grip of of Fakingas.
This is another 1 versus 2 seed here.
A lot of these here today, John. It's amazing. The lowest seed to actually make it to the finals was a 3 seed. So these coaches definitely know their wrestlers and know their competition. That escape ties the score at 1 apiece with 40 seconds here to go in the third period.
And we have a tied up bout across the way too, Sorhan and Kursick, for those of you wanting to know up-to-date scores on that bout. Crowd's starting to get into it. Poway, of course, has the biggest crowd. They have the most players, too.
Yeah.
Athletes.
That is a pretty fine. And we have a stall call on Fakingas of Poway. I think both wrestlers now have a stall call on them. 18 seconds to go here in the third period. 1-1 apiece. Over there in mat number 1, it's still tied 4-4 with 24 seconds to go. So we might be looking at overtime both these matches. And a nice takedown attempt, a great sprawl. And no action as they go out of bounds with 2 seconds left. That was some phenomenal action here at the end.
I think it's interesting just how plugged in these fans are and their opinions on things. And a lot of people pulling for Hilltop here.
Yeah, the Hilltop coach coming over and asking for an explanation of the non-scoring there.
Now I see a lot of people cheering for Hilltop here, but not necessarily wearing Hilltop colors.
No, I would imagine Poway's kind of like the Yankees. Some people love them, and there's others that might just root against them. Here we go into overtime. Actually, we have overtime on both mats. Here, the bout you're watching between Fakingas and Cruz. We have 40 seconds to go in the overtime with a shot from Cruz as he drives his opponent out of bounds.
And you can probably hear the adopted Hilltop fans cheering in the background.
nice takedown attempts, working the setups, trying to clear some head ties here to initiate some leg attacks. Clearing ties. Cruz really working hard to keep his opponent on the match to instigate a takedown attempt. Some good hand fighting here. A nice takedown attempt. 5 seconds to go. There's a takedown for 2 for Jared Fakingas, sectional champ. The second seed wins here at 115 pounds.
And not to let him celebrate on camera, we're going to go over to the other mat, try to pick up an overtime and see how that finishes up.
Yeah, we've got 27 seconds to go here.
It's Kirsik versus Sorahan.
Miles Kirsik is the number 1 seed. I think, as you mentioned earlier, we have 27 seconds to go in this overtime. Kirsik did have a tough bout in the semis. He won 2-1 over the Orange Glen 95-pounder in the early going.
I think we'll watch the remainder of this, and then we'll jump on over to Jordan Griffin and Taylor Dial in the middle mat here in a little bit. We'll just watch this one finish up. Sorry about that. We are actually got an equipment thing, so our camera person was right on it. We're going to come over here and get you a few seconds of this one here with it's Taylor Dial from Poway High School. He's a junior, number 1 seed versus another number 2 seed.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, John, we do have back-to-back Poway and Hilltop battles here.
And they're both top 10 schools here in the San Diego County, so this shouldn't be a real surprise to anybody.
And again, this was one of the bouts that was called out as one of the better matches of the evening, so I'm glad we get to catch a little bit of this.
We still got some headgear issues over on the far mat. And I think we will take you to the conclusion there. So Abigail Metch on the camera tonight doing a great job making that smooth transition.
Sorahan really looking for some upper body action here on the edge of the mat with 15 seconds to go as we go out of bounds. Again, Kirsik and Sorahan in overtime here. 12 seconds left in this first overtime period.
Both come in here with pretty darn good records. 31-8 for Sorahan, 31-6 for Kirsik.
Yeah, Sorahan being a sophomore, and being a second seed, that's pretty impressive, especially at one of these upper weights.
Exactly, and guys typically mature a little later, so obviously showing that strength early along with his size.
And the Hilltop wrestler here on mat number 2 gets a takedown over Taylor Dial of Poway. It's 2-0 with about 20 seconds to go here in the first period on this mat.
So Hilltop here, Jordan Griffin. He's returning first place champ, it says here, CIF champ. Don't know all the details there, but that's what the piece of paper says.
And we're going to get a reversal. Oh, yeah, we did get a reversal there. We've got a score of 3-2. Or excuse me, a takedown and an escape and a takedown. Taylor Dial up 3-2. We'll go over to mat number 1 with Kirsik of Coste Canyon and Sorahan of Poway.
These guys got to be beat by this point.
With Kirsik is now up 6-4. With just a couple seconds to go. And now the Poway wrestler, Liam Sorahan, will get his choice. He will go down. We'll have another 30 seconds.
Once again, we're trying to bring you both mats. We have 2 simultaneous mats here. Trying to bring you the best coverage we possibly can here on Orange Nation TV. If you want to watch this again, you can on demand, orangenationtv.com.
So now the score is 6-5. I believe we had a penalty point that made it, that gave the Coste Canyon wrestler an extra point. So he is up, even though they both have only scored escapes in the second and third overtimes here. Ten seconds to go in this 197-pound bout as Liam Sorhan desperately tries to get a takedown to win this match. But Miles Kiersick of La Coste Canyon.
You're a little premature.
Yeah, they had 1 second left on the clock, and there it is. He's
congratulations to Miles Kiersick, the senior, going out on top here. Of course, he's got more business to do next week, but we're back here center mat.
Yeah, Taylor Dial here of Poway is up 6-2. About a minute to go in the second period. As Jordan Griffin looking for a Grammy roll. He pops out the back and does get the reversal to make it 6-4 with about 35 seconds to go in the second period. It's Jordan Griffin of Hilltop.
And we'll finish up over here, but coming up next on the far mat will be Ian Baker from La Coste Canyon versus Nick Kimball from San Marcos. We'll get you more information on them here in just a second.
About 5 seconds to go here on mat number 2 at 120 pounds. Showing a score of 7-4, Taylor Dial over Jordan Griffin of Hilltop. I don't know, we've got a little bit of a
So we're going to flip over. We'll flip over to Ian Baker. He's the junior from La Coste Canyon. He comes in here last year. He was second in CIF versus Nick Kimball, the senior, San Marcos, and he was third in CIF Division II just a year ago. So these guys probably seen each other a few times before.
I would think so. Number 1, number 2 seeds. Baker, 3 pins on the day, and looking for another one here as he's got some back points and looking for the fall, and a potentially dangerous stops the action. With Ian Baker up 5-0 over Nicholas Kimball of San Marcos. I'm sorry, maybe they only gave him 2 back points.
Now at this level, you go to 2 officials as opposed to the duels where you just have 1. What kind of benefits does that bring to the competition?
Definitely an extra set of eyes. You know, somebody help watch the clock. I do apologize there. They actually called him for an illegal hold, which only gave him 2 back points and gave his opponent Nicholas Kimball 1. He's getting back points here. Looking at about a minute to go, and there's a fall. Ian Baker of La Coste Canyon, your section champion, 182 pounds. 184 is going with the extra weight over Nicholas Kimball of San Marcos.
Just a junior, but he is the number 1 seed, so congratulations to Ian Baker as he moves on as CIF Division II champion out of San Diego. Back to the center.
Taylor Dial here, still up 7-4 with about a minute 10 to go in the third period. Really controlling his opponent. Trying to pull him back on the mat. And the referee blows the whistle to get a fresh start.
And on the far mat, we'll get you over there when we can. Connor Anderson from La Coste Canyon, Stevie Cervantes from Poway, 1 versus 2.
And I was told that Steve Cervantes is one of the top probably 12 wrestlers at his weight in the state. So I think he'll do quite well here. We'll stay on that 170-pound match here as Taylor Dial is not well in hand as he gets an escape. So it's 7-5, Taylor Dial over Jordan Griffin currently with 30 seconds to go. I think we'll come back over to mat 2 and watch this action. With just 30 seconds to go, Jordan Griffin of Hilltop is going to be very active in trying to get a takedown to tie this match up and send it into overtime. Working hard to clear the ties of Taylor Dial. 10 seconds left here. Another shot attempt to single leg and just couldn't lock it up. And that will end the match with a 7-5 victory. Taylor Dial of Poway over Jordan Griffin of Hilltop.
So we're
nice match there.
We'll bounce back over. Stevie Cervantes of Poway taking on Connor Anderson of La Coste Canyon. Connor Anderson is 33-6 coming in here, and Stevie Cervantes is 37-4, and looks like he has a CIF title, at least from last year, already to his credit.
Cervantes has had a pretty tough day. Failed throw attempt there by Connor Anderson of La Coste Canyon. Gives up the takedown. Cervantes 3 pins on the day. He's been on the mat for a little over 6 minutes, which, John, if you consider a normal bout, he wrestled, the decisions, that would be 18 minutes, so he's only really worked 1/3 of the time.
I'm sweating just watching it. It's getting a little warm here in Westview, but beautiful gym nonetheless. Just a lot of good competitors here, big crowd.
Connor Anderson with a little bit of scramble there, momentarily caught Cervantes on his back. He does take him back to the mat, to his back. With about 8 seconds to go here in the first period, it is 4-1.
And really interesting bout here in the middle. We have Memo Lopez, who's a freshman. Here in the middle, Memo Lopez, who's just a freshman from Morse. The Tigers making their presence known here. And we have him against Gabe Fowler from Poway. So interesting enough, a freshman getting a crack at it. We'll take a look at that, and then we'll probably head on back to the other mat.
Yeah, Memo here is one of the few 3 seeds in the bout. Gabe Fowler, number 1 seed, pretty tough, like with all these Poway wrestlers, 33-7, and a JV county champ.
And you can imagine a lot of these wrestlers from Poway, just probably their toughest competitions during the week.
Yeah, that very often happens in a tough program. I mean, you can see he's a senior, and in 2010, he was wrestling JV because of those studs that Poway's had here over the years. He was not coming in as a freshman and wrestling right away. So here in the first period, we've got a score of 5-1 for Gabe Fowler. 7-1 now.
And Matt, you have LASIK surgery, so you're going to tell me, can you give him a score update on Stevie Cervantes and Connor Anderson?
Yeah, in the second period, a minute 10 to go. It's 6-2 for Steve Cervantes over Connor Anderson of La Coste Canyon. Here at the end of the first period, at 126 pounds, Gabe Fowler winning 7-1 over Memo Lopez of Morse.
If you're enjoying tonight's broadcast of CIF Division II Wrestling, don't worry, you can watch it over and over again on demand through our OrangeNationTV.com, or you can go to PlayOnSports.com and search Valhalla. It'll be on the Valhalla page forever.
This will be on there forever, John?
I do believe.
I was not told that in my interview. Steve Cervantes over on the other mat, looking at a takedown, and he's now up 8-2 with 20 seconds to go in the second period.
Abigail Metch on the camera for us tonight.
She's doing a wonderful job. She's keeping the camera off of me. We'll come back here to mat number 2. And Memo Lopez of Morse.
Morse Tigers with that rich athletic tradition over there, and showing their prowess in wrestling right now.
Freshman giving the senior all they can handle. Nice tight crossface there. About 50 seconds to go here in the second period. So Gabe Fowler does have this match well in hand at a score of 11-3. as Memo Lopez looks for a cradle and gets a little high, and unfortunately he's going to give up his back with a reversal.
Is that just inexperience, do you think?
Yeah, I think he just got a little high there, John, and he's got 30 seconds to stare at those lights and fight off his back and realize that maybe he shouldn't have got as aggressive as he was. And there's a fall for Gabe Baller. A minute 40 into the second period. There is your section champ at 126 pounds, Gabe Baller of Poway over Memo Lopez of Morse.
Yeah, hats off to the freshman. I'm sure we'll see him back here again. So we're back over to the far mat. Connor Anderson versus Stevie Cervantes. I believe Cervantes is still in the lead 10-4.
10-4 with about a minute 20 to go. He's got a takedown here. That'll make it 12-4. Got just 70 seconds to go in that third period. He's going to give him an escape, pardon me, and the score now 12-5. See, Cervantes wants to work on his takedowns here.
And at
a nice single leg there. And there's two.
At the conclusion of this, we'll flip back over to Tovar and Tin Cup in the center ring, center mat rather. La Coste Canyon versus Poway. Been a common trend so far.
Yeah, those Poway La Coste Canyon bouts are a dime a dozen here, John.
Well, it's just a credit to the two wonderful wrestling programs that they have. Obviously, a lot of power here in the North County in terms of wrestling.
Yep. I think we'll only 20 seconds to go with Steve Cervantes up 16-6. I think we'll come back over here, mat number 2, and watch Ralphie Tovar of Poway versus Kyle Tin Cup, and that is probably the best name here in the tournament.
Ralphie Tovar is just a sophomore, but he's got quite a long record of success. 37-5. It looks like he was a Masters runner-up last year. Kyle Tin Cup, a junior, did very well as well. Comes in at 30-12. So good matchup here, 1 versus 2.
And just to give you an update over there, 170 pounds. Steve Cervantes is your sectional champ with a 16-6 victory over Connor Anderson of Coste Canyon. Again, John, we've got a very good handicapper here, somebody that knows a little bit more about San Diego wrestling than either of us do, and he said this is probably one of the better bouts, or at least one of the better wrestlers for sure in Tovar Poway. Easily probably one of the top 12 wrestlers in the state. You know, he's second in the Masters. So
on the far mat, we'll stay right here, but just to let you know, Chris Bailey, the freshman, rare third seed, taking on Phoenix Prefontaine, who's a junior from La Coste Canyon. So we will, just to let you know on that far mat, interesting story, the freshman Chris Bailey from Poway basically beat a senior 2 weeks ago on his own team to get here.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. To be wrestling behind somebody all year and then beat him the last couple weeks.
And that's probably a good reason why Poway is a perennial champ, because if they have that competition going on in-house.
Best kid in the room gets to get on the mat. Ralph Tovar with a takedown and looking for some back points, but didn't get any as they go off the edge of the mat with 20 seconds to go here in the first period. Just to give you an update on that other mat, it's a minute to go in the first period. It's 0-0 Prefontaine and Bailey, La Coste Canyon, Poway. And back over here on mat number 2, Poway and La Coste Canyon. It's like deja vu all over again.
And if you just found this, you can, and you wanted to go see what some of the other weights had done, you can definitely, when we're done here, you can go back and watch on demand and keep watching today's wrestling bouts, here are the finals anyway, as many times as you like on OrangeNationTV.com.
Here at mat number 2, Ralphie Tovar of Poway over Kyle Tin Cup, La Coste Canyon. 2-0 as we go into the second period. Tovar will elect to go down to start this second period.
Tovar, just a sophomore, and Tin Cup, a junior. Once again, I'm sure with these two programs, they've probably seen each other a few times.
A little potentially dangerous there. Throw it in the legs and wrestler coming to his feet. Referees always stop that.
Still 0-0 on the far. I laughed because they went almost into the scorer table, but it's still 0-0. Prefontaine and Bailey on the far mat. We'll try to get you some coverage here in a second.
Tovar needs to look for some hand control here as Tin Cup drops to a leg. Needs to really cross-face hard there, break that grip. There he goes, gets the reversal and looks right into a cradle. And he does get the cradle and is looking for some back points. Unfortunately, he's only going to get 2 there as he pulls his opponent back on the mat. And definitely trying to show a little dominance there. That's pretty impressive for Tovar's a sophomore. Is that correct, John?
Yeah, Tovar is a sophomore. Another one of those young wrestlers out of the Poway program. Seem to be able to pencil in Poway into these spots almost every year.
6-0 here. About a minute to go in the second period. Not much action again over on the other mat.
Bailey and Prefontaine still zeros.
Knotted up at donuts. About a minute and a half to go in the second period there. Here at mat number 2, Tovar is up again 6-0 as he looks to turn Tin Cup of Coste Canyon.
Once again, we're live here at Westview High School in San Diego County. CIF sectional.
Good hips. That's probably going to be potentially dangerous there. Taking that. We'll probably have a little bit of an injury time, perhaps. Nope. He's going to shake it off and come back to the center.
Still no points on the far side with Bailey and Prefontaine.
Tin Cup definitely the more difficult of the 2 days. 3 decisions, even had a double overtime match in the semis, whereas Tovar, 3 pins on the day. Just 3 seconds to go here in the second period. Tovar of Poway, 6-0 over Tin Cup of Coste Canyon. The Prefontaine Bailey bout still knotted at zeros with just a little over 30 seconds to go. I do appreciate Tovar's old school wrestling shoes there.
The old ASICs there sporting, what does it say, about late 80s on those, the originals?
They're looking, they might be a retro pair, but those are some good looking shoes. And you know, when you were a kid, the kid with the better looking shoes was always the better wrestler. A little aggressive as they go out of bounds there. Start the third period at neutral.
It's still scoreless over on the far side there with Chris Bailey. You can't see them, they're off camera. We will try to get over there in a moment. Chris Bailey and Prefontaine.
We'll stay here with Tovar, definitely one of the top wrestlers in the state. And having a more difficult day than he's had in his 3 previous bouts. Working hard on that front head into a possible cradle here. And there's a takedown for Tovar on the edge of the mat as they go out of bounds. 8-0, the $1:20 to go in the third period.
I think we have a score, actually.
We did have an escape for, it looks like Bailey of Poway, the freshman there, scores the first points of the match with a $1:20 to go in the third period. I wouldn't be surprised if Tin Cup possibly gets a stalling call here. Not a lot of action coming up, although Tovar is kind of looks to be a beast on top, and really good hips and keeping his opponent down. There we go. Man, the guy got ESP, John.
That's why we have you on the broadcast, all that experience and wrestling knowledge.
Since I've been called for stalling before, I know what it looks like.
They tend to frown on that.
They do. 37 seconds to go here in the third period. Tovar of Poway up 8-0 as he looks for some back points, and he's going to get them. That is a very tight move. I do not envy Kyle Tincup right now.
And I think a certain Ralphie Tovar is enjoying this, though.
Yeah, no, it's
smiles all the way around.
15 seconds to go, and he's probably going to just get his back points here. It's pretty difficult to pin from this position unless he can really get his hips down.
20 seconds left on the far, 30 seconds on the far mat.
Yeah. Ralphie Tovar here, your champion, at 132 pounds. Should be 11-0 over Kyle Tincup of Coste Canyon. Congrats to Ralphie Tovar.
With 20 seconds left, we'll pick up the Bailey and Prefontaine bout. 1-0 right now.
It's a battle royal. This bout looks a lot more like a 285-pound bout than 160-pound.
Double coconut crusher.
Nothing against either of these wrestlers or the big guys in general. I did wrestle heavyweight, so I can talk a little smack. There's not a lot of scoring involved. 2 seconds to go. We're tied at 1 apiece, so we are definitely probably going overtime.
I think we'll have back on the center mat. We'll stay here. I think we'll stay over here. Correct, Matt?
Yeah, we'll stay over here because the overtime bout.
And then over here in the center, we'll come back to when we have a chance. Sergio Enloe, a junior from Poway, versus Alex McIntyre, just a sophomore from La Coste Canyon. This is kind of like a dual meet between.
And I think there's a takedown there, and there's a win for Bailey of Poway,
the freshman.
Yes, your champ at 160. This bout here between Enloe Sergio and Alex McIntyre of Coste Canyon, I was told Sergio is a very tough wrestler, so I'm not surprised at this quick takedown and looking for a fall here. Just a minute 15, just to bring you up to speed, a minute 15 to go in the first period with a score of 5-0.
It looks like we're going to get a couple opportunities just to stay here. Maybe a couple discussions on the far mat.
They can talk all they want. We get more wrestling. That brings more wrestling to you folks.
That's right. Once again, if you enjoyed this broadcast or if you have a relative that would like to see it today, you can send this link, post it on Facebook, send it on Twitter, and email it to anybody. You can also just go to orangenationtv.com. We'll leave that link up for a long time. Or you can go to playonsports.com, search Valhalla. It'll be on our on-demand videos. We really do appreciate you taking some time out of your busy day to watch some excellent wrestling here in CIF San Diego Section 2.
Again, we've got Enloe Sergio, 45 seconds to go, up 5-0 over Alex McIntyre of La Coste Canyon. On the far mat,
we'll come over there. We have Cody Doyle from Poway, and from San Marcos, Alexander Graves, and 1 versus 2 again.
Yep. And John, I was told this is one of the better matches of the evening. Yeah, we'll stay on this one.
Now, I want to point out something. Cody Doyle comes in here 36-7. He's a junior, and he was a CIF finalist this year, obviously. And he does list as an accomplishment that he almost died. So I don't know to what extent. Maybe it was a tough wrestling year. I don't know. So it's one of those things
the squiggly line, I wonder if water was involved.
But anyway, excellent wrestler, Cody Doyle, taking on Alex Graves. He's a junior, San Marcos. Last year was second in CIF. And has had a great year, 23-3. Once again, the sheets we look at, we allow the athletes actually to fill in their information. So we're reliant upon them.
Sometimes we get some interesting nicknames. Sometimes we get some interesting nicknames for their coaches as well. I saw one coach called Daddy, a couple of the assistant coaches called Uncle.
And you know, with any sport, especially a sport like wrestling, it probably is a little like that.
Yeah. About a minute to go here in the first period. As they go off the match, it's still 0-0.
Right here, once again we have 1 versus 2. Cody Doyle versus Alex Graves. San Marcos versus Poway. And in the center, we'll come back to here in a moment. If we have time, Alex McIntyre, Coste Canyon versus Sergio Inlow.
We had a little issue there.
Now, looking at this sheet, it says Sergio Inlow. Now, we believe that the athlete actually filled this out. Now, everywhere else it says Inlow Sergio. So we do apologize if we've made any errors. I'm going to probably err on the side of the piece of paper that we think was filled out by the athlete.
Graves of San Marcos and Cody Doyle of Poway still knotted up at 0 apiece. There was a stall call against Cody Doyle of Poway. Alexander Graves being a little bit more aggressive and does score the first takedown of the match with just a little over 15 seconds to go in the first period. Both of these wrestlers had short days. Graves 2 pins and a technical fall. Doyle 3 pins en route to the finals here. As we start the second period, Alexander Graves of San Marcos is up 2-0. And Cody Doyle of Poway will elect to go down to start the second period. Just to bring you up to date on mat number 2, Sergio Inlow is up 7-0 over Alex McIntyre of Coste Canyon.
And I'm not a mathematician, but if I were to venture a guess, looks like Poway will take home that team title as well.
Yeah, I'd say it was done before we even started here. Typically, you can only score about 4 points for a championship over a second place. The quick escape by Cody Doyle of Poway makes it 2-1.
We sincerely hope that we'll be able to bring you finals next week of all of CIF, but we're waiting on that. Come back to OrangeNationTV.com if we'll have some updates on that during the week.
Yeah, that might affect what I do next Saturday, John, because as you may know, Dan Patrick is going to be at the Buffalo Wild Wings in Huntington Beach.
Well, I think I'll take a back seat to Dan and come do some wrestling and let the good people of San Diego see what they're missing by not being out here today.
Poway's Cody Doyle there, encouraged by the referee not to put his hand in the throat area of his opponent.
It's always a good piece of advice.
Some definitely good hand fighting here. And I'm not sure he's going to give him 2. He may talk to his second official. A little quick action. He did give him 2. So Cody Doyle of Poway gets a flash takedown with 1:15 to go in the second period to lead 3-2 over Alexander Graves of San Marcos. Sorry, John. Both of these wrestlers very confident. You can tell they wrestle some Greco, perhaps, especially Alexander Graves, very confident going upper body with his opponent.
And Sergio Inlow looks like he's got things under control in the center. Matt?
Yeah, at the end of the second period here, that was a nice move. I just caught out of the corner of my eye, but again, Sergio Inlow up 7-0 as his opponent elects to go neutral to start the third period. Graves and Doyle knotted up at 3 apiece. 40 seconds to go in the second period. Again, there's more of that upper body action. And surprisingly, Doyle hit with another stall call. Graves picks up another point. definitely more aggressive with that Russian tie there, looking to set up some more takedowns, whereas Cody Doyle, even though he's active, he's been blocking a lot more. Definitely more of a defensive takedown wrestler, it appears.
Approaching 10 seconds.
And I think this period will end with Alexander Graves of San Marcos up 4-3 as they go into the third period. And Graves will elect to go down to start that period.
We're still active here in the middle. And Enlow is still on top of things, 9-0 in the center mat. We're going to stay here, though, with Doyle and Graves squaring off here.
A quick escape and then almost another takedown for Doyle of Poway as they go off the mat. It's a lot of action for 11 seconds of a period. 5-3, Alexander Graves of San Marcos with the lead.
North County well represented here today as you look across.
Yeah, good turnout here today, John. I mean, nice facility.
Westview, if you have not had a chance to be in this gym, you should. It's a beautiful gym, a good testament to how a facility should be built.
And I do like the crowd control.
Actually,
in between
great.
The spectators and the mats.
CIF is very proficient in putting these events on and using, obviously, Westview's coaching staff put this on. But CIF doing a masterful job here.
With 1:20 to go, Alexander Graves still leads Cody Doyle of Poway. Very good with that Russian tie is Alexander Graves of San Marcos.
And after
very confident.
After these two bouts, it looks like we just have one more left.
Yeah, and I think that'll be probably one of the best matches of the evening, John. That 145-pound match. A kid we saw last week from El Cajon Valley up against the #1 wrestler in the state, Victor Lopez of Poway.
Should be a lot of fun, so stay right here. If you do happen to leave, you can watch this over and over on demand.
Yeah, you probably should. Memorize everything that John has said and then come up to him at a meet and greet sometime when we get famous and repeat everything.
Once again, we'd like to thank CIF for allowing Orange Nation TV to cover this. On the camera tonight, Abigail Metch, a student at Valhalla, and Joseph Hope Hull producing on the computer over there.
30 seconds to go. Alexander Graves, surprisingly, of San Marcos, still the more aggressive, even though he leads 5-3 with 23 seconds, I believe, to go. Takedown attempt by Cody Doyle, deep on a single leg. Nice job to grab the wrist there by Alexander Graves to prevent him from bringing the leg up.
And we'll let you know Sergio Enlow is a champion today.
At 138 pounds with a 9-1 victory over Alex McIntyre of Coste Canyon, another section champ for Poway.
So Poway continues its storm of dominance here today.
We've got 26 seconds left, I apologize, over on mat #1. And this probably... Like we mentioned earlier, one of the best wrestlers in the state, Victor Lopez of Poway.
We'll stay actually on the mat, or the mat #2 over here, and we'll come back over for the Shamoon and Lopez bout here in a moment.
And there is a no, not a takedown. He's got to hook that leg, and if he does hook the leg, there's at least an escape. And then a reversal. And we cannot see the scoreboard. It's 5 seconds left to go. It's 7-5. A takedown and a reversal.
And Brody Barrios from San Marcos, the coach from San Marcos, is over at the scores table.
Your wrestler is still up, Coach. Your wrestler is still up. I understand he wanted no takedown, and he wanted his wrestler because I don't think he felt that Doyle of Poway ever had control.
We have an early score over here on the center mat. It looks like
there's a Victor Lopez got the takedown there. He's up 2-0.
I looked at the wrong tape on there. So, yes, Victor Lopez.
Either way you look at it, Alexander Graves of San Marcos is still up 7-5 as it's currently scored as the officials discuss whether or not whether or not Cody Doyle Poway actually got a takedown.
We're going to come back over actually to Lopez and Shamoon as they get things squared away. Just take a look in. It's not often you get to see a #1 wrestler in state, and somebody was 4th last year at state.
We've got 7 seconds left to go. We're going to have a lot of action here. We'll just watch these last couple seconds here. And almost a reversal. And all he'll get is an escape. I'm sorry to scream. I'm getting excited as the spectators are. Alexander Graves of San Marcos, your sectional champ, with a 7-6 hard-fought victory at 152 pounds.
All right, our last bout of the night, we got Victor Lopez, the senior from Poway, one of the top wrestlers in all of California, versus Leon Shamoon.
And unfortunately, we might only get over to him to watch a fall, and there it is. $1:29 into the first period. Victor Lopez of Poway with a fall to win the section title.
So hopefully you've enjoyed tonight's coverage of CIF Division II Wrestling. Tonight we've listened to Matt Eckerman wow us with all kinds of good insight on wrestling. My name's John Owens. We're here on behalf of Orange Nation TV. We want to thank CIF for allowing us here, and the great host of Westview for us to cover arguably the toughest division wrestling in San Diego County. We hope to be here, hope to be covering CIF finals next week. Here, same place. You can come over to orangenationtv.com. We want to thank our hosts of Westview for allowing us to set up here. We want to thank CIF for their awesome hospitality and letting us set up our cameras.
Yeah, I really hope to put in a little plug with the CIF that we can do Masters next week. Hopefully they enjoyed this coverage. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate being a part of it.
On behalf of Orange Nation TV, Joseph Hope Hall doing a masterful job on the producing tonight.